I've said it already with Arsenal. I don't think they can come back purely because they're not looking like going on that run that you got to go on. Like
Rabbi,
when you
Rabbi, we're not gonna win nothing. It's done. It's done. I'm prepared to say it's done. Don't get me wrong. I think Liverpool have a little thing on them. I just don't think Arsenal have it within them to be inspired to come back anymore. I don't. That Villa game told me everything I needed to know.
The previous
captain, the Saka effect. You know what? It's respect to Saka.
Yeah.
The Saka effect on that team, I didn't realize it was this deep. No Saka, no party.
Yeah.
It's actually mad.
Yeah.
Odegaard looks like Robin to Batman, like he needs his partner.
Yeah.
And I understand that. We see how partnerships work in football.
Do you remember when Pep was looking at the
the seat? He's like, do something. Do something.
This is Odegaard.
It's mad. It's
Looking
mad.
at Saka, he's not there.
The Arsenal situation is mad. You've got Mazou Skelly, who's probably better than the two people he signed in both positions.
Yeah.
Left back and centre mid. You've got a situation where the set piece juice is not juicing like it used to.
Sometimes
very
the
good.
corner shop's closed.
Sometimes bad.
It's a Sunday as well.
Then the Havertz situation thing as well, like the Havertz situation is a bit spooky.
Well, we all knew what it was.
We knew.
what
But
it was.
it's a bit mad.
It's
a
nice
bit
goal
mad.
though. Nice
It's
goal.
mad.
You know,
Oh,
straight
yeah.
at the keeper.
Off his stomach, right?
Yeah.
Off
Listen,
his stomach.
that one should have had a brace. But there's an agenda. Someone said Gary Neville's doing the VAR. That's what they said. They really called in
My gosh.
to the call show and said that, you know. But yeah, I think with them, they haven't that attack. Let's just be honest now. That attack is not title winning material. No. You can't be that dependent on Saka. Have no backup for Saka. Then when Yeri comes into the team, he's the star boy, and rightly so because he was looking great.
Yeah.
But being that dependent on him, I mean, that's not the way. The left-hand side is I don't know. Martinelli was fantastic. A couple of years ago, even in the back end of the season where they were falling off in that title race, I remember he was the one actually continuing to push out the good performances. He's completely like changed as a player. He's not what he was. I think that is partly down to the way Arteta kind of has changed the way that they play in terms of being more controlling or a little bit slower on the counter. They don't have as many transitions as they used to have. They're just a lot more plain, a lot more bland. His instruction is knock it off some ankles and get corners instead of actually, the great level, high quality football that we saw earlier on in his tenure. That Arsenal team, yeah, they just don't. I was scared of a title push and a title challenge, a serious one, a few years ago, when they were, just blitzing teams. But I don't know what scarred him. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if it was the loss of the Premier League title twice in a row, but he's now just become a shadow of his former self, and now he's looking more inspired by David Moyes in his Everton time than he is by Pep, and the comparisons there. But yeah, Arsenal are not capable of doing a 10-game winning run, man. And when you're at a deficit to Liverpool, even though they've been dropping points as well, you've got to go on a run. You've got to strike fear into them. You've got to make them nervous. They've got to know that every game week they have to win. If you don't turn around, Arsenal will be on your case. I don't see that from Arsenal right now. I don't see a team that's on anyone's case. Even the goals are going in now. They're like at the other end, they're starting to concede. Saliba and Gabriel, that's a force to be reckoned with. Gabriel always scoring from corners, two great centre backs, but the goals are going in at that end as well now, and it's almost like time. The lack of confidence in the forward line and the missed chances and going out 2 cups in 1 week. The defenders are now just starting to lose it all as well now.
What happens if Arteta doesn't win the league?
Well, I hope he stays. Give us a couple more years, Give us a few more years. You know what? I like this version of Arsenal. Almost there. Almost going to win the league. Almost going to win the champs. Almost going to win the FA. I love this version of them. If he doesn't win this league, keep him there. Realistically, last season, that should have been when they won the league, because they went to go get out Declan Rice, and that was the last piece to their puzzle, no? That's all they needed. All they needed was a midfielder last season. That's all they were saying that they needed. They got him, still didn't win the league. This season again, they say, oh, we need this, we need that, we need... Like, bro, what else do you need for you to see that this manager may not be capable of getting you to the promised land? And like you said, I don't see them going on a 10-game run where they're going to win every single game. I don't see it happening. They're not like a Man City. They're not ruthless enough. And you're talking about Odegaard needing his partner Saka, if I'm being honest with you, when even one of them are out of the squad, it is a problem that just hasn't been fixed. When Odegaard was out of the squad earlier on in the season and Arsenal were dropping points here and there, that was a massive problem. Saka's now gone as well. Massive problem again. Saliba, we don't know how long he's going to be out for yet. Massive problem. They're not going to win this league. So it's either the fans start drafting his P45 or they give him 5 more years.
They don't want to do that, and I think...
And that's a testament to them.
Do you know what
if you was an Arsenal fan, you'd want him sacked if they didn't win the league.
Look,
for me, it's not the issue that Arsenal have got is what phase they're calling this now. Is it phase 5? Phase 5.
like, how many phases?
I don't know how many.
The problem with where Arsenal are is initially, I remember saying that they started their project with youth because they were getting rid of the big personalities, your Aubameyangs, your Martinez, all of these people. They're getting rid of them. Like your Smith Rowe and Saka were bedrock of what turned that team around. They probably leapfrogged 2 years of progression because they went from sort of trying to finish top 4 to title contending.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, how are you going to spend money to match your ambitions? And if I was to look at the spending habits of Arsenal Football Club in the time that Arteta, Eddie, and all that stuff has been going on, I don't necessarily think it matches the ambition of trying to win a title. I say that to say this. City were winning stuff and went to go and get Haaland.
Yep.
And then sign him to a 10-year contract.
Yeah.
Because they said, we're going to slap everyone's head from now to eternity. That's the type of time we're on. Arteta went to buy defenders. And don't get me wrong, Jose Mourinho, that's what we come from.
Yeah.
Defense wins titles.
Yeah.
But brother, you need some killers as well.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz wasn't signed as a striker. He was signed as a
8.
centre mid.
Yes.
He was signed as a centre mid, and then you moved him there because it didn't work for you. And I have you remember, there was times where he was trying to pigeonhole Havertz and compromising Odegaard's game to try and make Havertz work. So that wasn't something that you tried to do. You let Nketiah go, whatever, cool. Jesus, you bought off the back end to try and come in, but you saw Jesus at Manchester City. You saw Zinchenko at Manchester City. So it's like, I don't know if the investment on what you've tried to build and this lovely house you tried to build is the mansion you want it to be to win the Premier League. And that's where it's weird for me because what are they going to do next? What do you do at this point where you realise that this doesn't work? What do you do next? Do you then get a kit of money to spend on forwards? Maybe. And maybe that takes you closer. But that is an admittance that the money spent up until this point hasn't been spent well.
Yeah.
It hasn't. And I don't like comparing in this sort of way, yeah, but Liverpool this season are a team playing on Jurgen Klopp's investments.
Yeah.
They just got a new manager that said, listen, we're going to change the energy a little bit.
Yeah.
They're competing again. Chiesa's he's coming to the dance here and there. I don't really count that. That was investments from the past.
Yeah.
That means those investments were probably the right investments. Arsenal need to really look at how they spent their money. The two biggest impacts that have come into their squad this season are from the academy.
Yeah.
With all the money spent, the biggest impacts to their team this season have been Miles Lewis-Skelly in his performances and what we saw from Ethan in cups and the little stint where Saka was injured.
Yeah.
That's spooky.
And then bearing in mind, it took a while for Arteta to even integrate them into the team.
Ranieri should have been in that team
ages ago. Time ago.
Yeah.
But what would you ask me before?
Well, I was just saying, if you supported them, would you want him sacked at the end of the season if they didn't win it? For me, considering the comparison to Klopp was constant, and look, this is the trajectory we're on. It's gonna take these many phases. By this time, Klopp had won multiple things.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the amount of time you've been there, the trophies. I know they talk about the FA Cup, but if you're being serious as an Arsenal fan, that is not all you want, because you were getting FA Cups when you were in your Emirates Wenger days with no money and losing people on free agents and whatnot. So that's not what you're aspiring for. Don't lie. Don't pretend. You want Premier League, Champions League. This is what you want.
Yeah.
Do you believe he can bring that in? Right? And why is there a narrative that the project has to start all over again if he leaves? You've got a good squad. You know you need a couple of additions, but do you not need a breath of fresh air in terms of who's going to communicate that? Who's going to bring a couple of little new tactics to the table? Why can't you get your own slot and kick on to the next level? Why are you afraid of? It's an emotional attachment thing because he's brought back the energy and oh my God, we're higher than we've ever been. But that's not the end goal. You haven't achieved anything. You've not won anything. There's nothing in history set in stone to say this era, it's not there. It's a figure of your imagination until you win something. Why are you so hesitant at the end of the season if he doesn't hit the targets that we all knew he had to hit?
Yeah.
If there was ever a City drop-off, it had to be you.
Yeah.
Why can't Why can't that just be where the line is drawn? Why do we have to make excuses and say, oh, but well, if we just get this and maybe, why can't we just say the line is drawn? Your opportunity was here. Liverpool have already shown that they're not, completely unstoppable. They have their own little drops. You haven't capitalised.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it stepping.
Yeah, and you know what? You hit the nail on the head there, mate. You hit the nail on the head there. Just because you get a new manager doesn't mean you got to restart that entire project. Arne Slot, look at what he's doing with Liverpool. You are so right. Arsenal have some bits and pieces there. I will never ever sit down and cap and say their team's not a good team. Their team is a great team. That squad is a great squad and it has so much potential. What is missing is new ideas. You lot need new ideas. Yeah, your set piece coach is a 10 out of 10 coach whenever he's ready to sign for Chelsea. We need one expeditiously.
We have one.
No, we need another one. We need a new one.
I don't know if you guys, back in the day when you used to take bus, sometimes you'll be on the bus now and it goes, the driver is changing.
It's not the same destination.
The bus is still going where it was before. But sometimes you need the new driver.
Yes.
Get someone else at the wheel.
And you gotta sit there and wait 10 minutes.
You gotta wait.
You gotta wait 10 minutes.
And you gotta hope you can make the time back.
Yes.
You gotta message back. I might be late to work, but if the new driver's on votes, I might get. You get me?
Yes.
You need a new bus driver.
You need a new one.
Arsenal need a new bus driver. This one's. He doesn't know the route. He's taking a bus. He's driving over roundabout. He doesn't know the route anymore.
Bro's doing diversions. He's doing up diversions.
Bro, he's missing the pedestrians at the stops.
Bro, you know when you ring the bell and they don't stop? Excuse me.
Need a new bus driver.
That's literally what it is. Just get a new bus driver.
It's the same bus
to get you to that destination. It's the same bus, same destination. New driver.
Same crowd on the bus as well. Same people.
Crowd.
Saka's still there. Gabriel's still there. Same people on the bus.
There's still some people even getting off and getting on.
That's what I'm saying.
Some people getting off. Some people getting off. Getting on.
Maybe Havertz is getting off the bus.
Do you get it?
But maybe Isak's getting on the bus. Oh, can you imagine? And maybe if the driver's changing, that's why Isak's getting on the bus.
Isak's getting on. He feels safer with the new driver. Dog.
What?
We got it.
Problem solved.
We got it.
Get a new bus
driver. Expeditious.
Oh, listen.
It's the same destination.
This is coming from your ops. We don't even want to see you win.
The thing is, we've been here several times. We can see when a manager's gonna take us to the promised land and when they're not gonna take us to the promised land. And Arteta, I like the guy. I think he's a decent coach, a decent manager. Obviously, this is his first big gig. His first big gig is Arsenal, the Arsenal Football Club, the biggest team in London, quote unquote. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, quote unquote. That's his first big job. The expectation for him to get a Premier League and a Champions League, this, that. Yeah, I understand the pressure should be on him, fine. But come on, was it ever realistic? Someone's first big job to get it's tough out here.
Listen, let me be real, yeah.
And you can come back the second time.
Yeah, dog.
Mourinho back.
Did it.
You could come back.
You get it.
Just because he goes, it doesn't mean he's done.
You get it. Mourinho
He could come
did
back
it.
for the second stint, do a little bit of, tour around Spain, do a Villarreal, Seville, a little Europa League collection like Emery.
Listen,
following the same footsteps.
You get it.
Let me be real, yeah. A few weeks ago, someone gave a piece of information to me and I came and said it in the pod and people laughed. And then by week, it's starting to make sense. Someone said to me that could Mikel Arteta be Arsenal's Gareth Southgate? And at first I thought that was blasphemous. I thought it was wild. But the more I sit down with it, I'm starting to see synergies. You've got a manager that's come in and the first thing he did was restore the feeling internally. Wow. We don't have any moral compass. We don't have any feeling. We don't have connection to the fans. We need people to feel something. Wow. We want to focus on a new cohort. We want to focus on youth. We want to make the right infrastructure. Yeah. I remember Arteta's first day, he came in and said, do we have drones? Saka said, yeah. He said, we need more. Bring in all of this information. Cool. The style of football... right now, it's not the greatest. It's functional in some places. But what we're seeing a barrier of getting over the final hurdle. The maid of honor syndrome, as if you like. Just not being the main person. Gareth Southgate did all of that with England. He took England from the pits. He changed the FA. He brought in youth. He implemented systems. He brought the youth up.
And now you fucking lose. And now you fucking lose
two finals. Then what? Do you know what England done? They said, Gareth, you've done really well for us. Listen, it's not personal. But we think it's time.
matter.
We think it's time. You can get your knighthood. We will respect you, and you always have a place in the hearts.
New
Tommy
station.
Tommy Tooks,
Bro.
you have one job. You have one job.
It's true.
Get this bus to the bus station.